Hello, my name is Christopher Thomas. I'm data compliance analyst with the Office for the Lancaster County Homelessness Coalition. I'm also the HMIS lead. This is the first in a series of videos meant to serve as basic training for how to use the Empower Lancaster HMIS. This will be a brief video. We'll just be talking about some very basic stuff that you'll need to know in order to get started. You'll see it on the screen, my email address and phone number. If you have questions, feel free to email me. Whether about this video or any of the videos that follow. So really quickly, getting started in Empower Lancaster, EL will have a specific URL that will have been emailed to you either by myself or Sheldon when you received your user credentials. If you lose that, I would recommend asking someone at your organization first, but if you need it sent back to you, we can certainly do that. It's not in this video because we don't want to publicly advertise how to get to this system. But I would recommend that once you have that URL, you bookmark it in your web browser so that you can return to it easily. It's also going to be simplest if you make sure to either write down your username and password, or save it using a password manager like your web browser probably has, because it will make the login process much easier. There is a button on the login screen that will allow you to ask for a password reset. That's like most systems. But something to know about Empower Lancaster is that you should be mindful or careful when you are logging in, because if you input the wrong password 3 times, the system will temporarily lock you out for 30 minutes. The reason for this is that we don't want to have people trying to force their way into the system by trying passwords till they get one that works. If that does happen, you will be able to email us. You can either wait, of course, for 30 minutes and try again, or you can email us to ask for a password reset. Once you're in the system, the first thing you're going to see, we call the whiteboard. It's going to pop up. It's going to say disclaimer at the top. If we have messages that all users in the system need to receive, they'll appear on that whiteboard. An example of this would be if the system's going to be down for maintenance, you would get a message saying, between these dates and these times, the system will be down. So please don't try and log in, will be the kind of thing you would get on that whiteboard. Okay, now looking at the actual screen, what you'll be looking at once you first log in. Actually, I'm going to pause really quickly. The first thing you'll see, and if it's your first login, will be an end user agreement. So just so you know what to expect, that will be a agreement that you'll sign. That is just an agreement saying that you will respect the confidentiality of client information. You will not access client information that you don't have a legitimate purpose for. You will not share or download client information. Once you've done that, you'll be taken to what we'll call the client dashboard. For your first login, it's just going to be blank. But every time you go into Empower Lancaster, after you've looked at a client, it will just take you back to the dashboard for the last client you were looking at. We're looking at Christopher Thomas right now. This is just a test client. I have this screen out so I can point out different parts of this dashboard to hopefully make it a little bit less overwhelming when you first log in. Up here in the top right, you can see my mouse. This tells you who you're logged in as and what role you are logged in under. You can change this if you have more than one roles, or more than one. Yeah, for instance, if you're a supervisor and you need to do reporting, you would have additional roles, which you could access by clicking this little triangle up here, and then picking a different role in the menu that pops out. Most of you will be using the case manager role for all the work that you'll do. It lets you do nearly everything you could possibly need to do in EL. If you need to change your password, if, for instance, we're going to give you a stock password when you start, if you'd like to change it to one that's easier for you to remember, you can do that using the My Caseworthy menu. Inside this menu, you will see another button that says My Caseworthy. That's where you can reset your password and change it to one that you select. You'll also see here below My Caseworthy the support button. If you click this, it'll take you to a different website where there are support articles, frequently asked questions, some definitions that might be helpful to you using the system. There's also a support ticket system that lets you send a support request to us. Um, that's a good way to get help if you need it. The only thing I would say while you're using that system is if you can, try and get a screenshot of the problem that you're experiencing. If there's an error code that appears, at least copy and paste that error code so that we can follow up based on exactly what happened. We'll go into more detail in later videos, but the last thing I'll say about this screen is that you essentially navigate EL using buttons at the periphery of the screen. So this top blue bar and this left gray bar are the buttons that we'll use to move around the system, move around a client record, find clients, do other tasks like that. So the top and left side are how we navigate the system. The last thing in this brief video here is, we would always ask that if you are using the system and you need to step away from your desk, that you log out. The system will automatically log you out after a period of inactivity, and you're only going to be able to have one active login at a time. So if you're logged in on your desktop and then 5 minutes later you log in on your laptop, the system is going to ask if it's okay to log you out of the first instance so it can log you in on the second. But it's very, very important, and the end user agreement does cover this, that we protect the information in this system. So if you're not at your desk, you're stepping away, please log out or lock your computer. Just don't leave a live session of Empower Lancaster open on a computer that anyone could potentially access. That's it for now. Back to the first page so you can see my contact information. Later videos will get into more detail about how to use the system. But for right now, this is just a quick overview of some very basic information. Thank you.